Welcome back to Tour Truck Tuesday. I am joined by Piers Ward, me and my golf. Piers, always good to see you, mate.
You too, mate. Thanks for having me.
We're going to go through a little different than what my normal live fittings are. I know Piers' game, so hopefully you can pick up some different things from this. Talking about your set makeup, you do a combo set, don't you?
Yep.
Blades, so P7MB, 7-iron down.
7 to wedge, yeah.
And then 6 to 4-iron in the cavity back.
Correct.
Some interesting things you've said, which we're going to look at in this video.
Yeah.
Be sure to subscribe and follow along if this is something you're going to like. Long iron, we're going to look at the 3-iron into the 5-wood.
Yeah.
We're maybe going to make that stronger.
Yeah, well, yeah, this is going to be interesting. It's under pressure, though. You're under pressure because the driver fitting was the best fitting I've ever had.
I'm pretty sure I can beat it. That is what we do year in, year out. So call out to start this off. You're going to lay one down. We're going for the street lamp as always. TP5X in the golf ball is what Piers plays. High spin player. So you can see, first things I'm looking at, which is great when we have a player like Piers. Divot patterns already, we've laid a few down here. Toe and heel depth is great. That one was a little heavy, but it still had the spin rate we've been getting. The reason I think it's a little heavy, Piers spoke to me earlier about peak heights. That one came out at 74 feet. Whereas this one, as you can see there, beautiful height, beautiful flight. Anyone out there doing a fitting, use your TrackMan as confirmation, use your eyes as what you go off first. Piers, switch that other golf shaft for us. 93.4 on the height. Now, KBS fitting for golf shafts that I had indoor gave me a great calculation for anyone out there looking at peak heights. Take your club speed, 91 mile an hour, then go off your height. If they're in the right realm of where it should be, that is a good number to go off. If you're indoors, obviously we're outdoors, that flight, and we'll put the shot tracer over it, was pretty awesome. I have this on normalized, 174 total. Anyone out there, normalized is when we take the breeze out of it, which we're slightly into, and we just look at it without at sea level. Now I've put you into, because you like the feel, you're a Project X 6.5. I'm going a bit softer. This is 6.0. Let's see if it changes anything. These are all 7-irons. You had 7,500 spin on that last shot. Those of you out there that follow me know that I like that for a 7-iron spin rate.
I think it was a bit heavy.
It was a hair. Go again, grab another ball, mate. It's a new club, it's a new feel. So one of the things with you as a player, you're quite strong opinionated on certain things that you like.
Yeah.
We've talked back and forth about the blades. I think you were a full set of blades at one point. You've gone combo set over the last 3 or 4 years that we've been doing this. You want to stick with blades in the short irons.
I like it, and the reason was that I went from a cavity. This is what happened. Since we started doing what we did, we played a lot less golf. So all the stuff we do on social and all that sort of, all the content we do, played a lot less golf. And I made the distinction between not playing a lot of golf to going to cavity back and those sort of clubs. And I'm going, because I wasn't scoring as well. But I'm going, hang on a bit, the reason you weren't scoring as well is not really because you're not hitting it any better, it's just because of the other things that slip, the short game and that. So me and Andy, we generally still hit the ball quite decent. So I was like, let's try a set of blades. And I tried them, and from the first moment I tried them, I was like, this is like heaven. I was controlling spin, distance control was really good. So it was a big positive jump in my mind to go, that's what I should be looking at. I should be now looking at blades in those short irons. But again, I'm more than happy to try the cavity.
So why did you embrace cavity backs in the long stuff?
Again, I think you're just looking at it and going, well, again, probably a little bit of a hangover still from the fact that I'm not playing a lot of golf and I need cavities for more help and more forgiveness, more consistency, and getting the ball in the air consistently on a consistent height. So I'm very visual, so I like to see it at a certain height. Sound and feel, and I know they're often the same, they're not as massively important to me, as long as it's not too floppy. We talk about a floppy shaft. And so how it looks visually, the ball flight is the most important thing for me.
So back onto where we're at in the 6.0, and I know you hit a couple before we got going here.
Yeah.
Can you feel much of a difference? Because I'm going to need to be guided by you a lot 100%. On this.
And yes, there is. So when I'm hitting them, it definitely feels a little bit different. Let me just hit another one actually. Just hit another one so I can give you a key on the feel that I would get out of it. As I say, it's not a massive preference for me that it has to be good. It's quite nice, isn't it?
Very nice.
Yeah. Well, I think the good thing for me is even though you've gone down softer in the shaft, it doesn't feel as though it's softer, if that makes sense.
7,200, 85 on the peak. I mean, it's definitely got a chance. Now look, with any fitting, there's a bell curve. I don't want to just keep having you hit.
Can I quickly just change on take normalise off so I can actually see what it actually was?
Of course. Yeah.
But I quite like that.
Yeah. This select fit stuff, awesome for guys out there. I mean, we've got the Kingdom just down the walkway there.
Yeah.
But when you're making a video or you literally are out of a car, you have standard, you have lots of different sleeves that come in different settings. So for a scenario like this, where I just want to look at some shafts and soften it up a little bit for you, this is a good way to go. Now, reason I've grabbed this 120 money taper, this is what I recently got fit into.
Okay.
I like spinny, I like high ball flights. I liked the feel of this.
You're talking me into this higher ball flight now anyway by being here, and that's what we'll definitely look at in the longer irons.
I just think Project X is brilliant, but it can be a bit boardy, especially for where you're at.
No, I'm good with that. Toe.
Still went though.
Yeah.
So I'd probably look at, again, fitting scenario, maybe 3 shots. Decent player. You can do 1 or 2, but you want to allow a bit for feel as well. Why'd you hover the club?
Help me move away. So I tend to bit disconnected and move off it a little bit. So for me, if I hover it, it's a lot easier to just keep the connection here, but also to stay centered.
Okay.
Helps me. If I move off the ball, I can't play a draw. Not that I'm trying to, but if I want to.
I think that is a good comparison to the shot that you were looking at, shot 14 that you wanted to look at. You went at that a bit smoother, peak height coming out almost a little bit lower, so that might not be the way we want to go. If you get rid of normalized, also lower.
So what?
Not as drafty now as it was.
No, you're right.
So I've got to go off normalized in order to give me a mindset. But 174, it's giving you the yardage visually.
Yeah.
It's not as high, but that could be the breeze. Normalized, it's not as high.
Okay.
So feel.
Yeah, let me hit one more. I mean, one thing that I will say, I've been burnt so badly over the years.
With changing?
With irons that just end up jumping on me and just end up going so far. So you're literally there, standing there, 7-iron yardage and it goes 6-iron yardage.
I think that's why you're in the blade.
Yeah, and I do hit it a lot softer now. I'm probably going at around about 75% effort when it comes to an iron.
But all good players do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't blast it.
It took me 25 years to figure that out.
It's taking me that long. I'm en route to it being that long.
Oh, jeez. That's nice.
I think that's great. Little draw and still spinning and hanging in there, but it's not my club, is it? I think this is going to be coming out a bit lower. I think you're getting the yardage you want out of it. And then I just look at the last few shots here. Same. Like 175 normalized is your number. And you're getting that out of it. I think the peak height on this calculation is a bit lower. But I also think we have to visually look at what we're getting a bit. I think in a long iron, 6-0 or that is going to kick a bit more for you, which we'll look at. Let's try the third option I've got here. And then I wouldn't bring any more shafts into the equation. I just wouldn't.
So this is this is KBS.
Money taper. I wanted to give you a bit more kick. I thought this would give you a bit more kick, to be fair. That's what I have found out of it, and it gave me a bit more yardage. I think for you, that and the 6-0, for you, not saying that's what they are on paper, but in this scenario for a good player, I think it's not far off. Now this is the 120X. This is stiff in the modus, but it's always been stiff as in X-Flex. But it's always been very responsive, is what I've found from tour players who use it. Not everyone, but tour players like this golf shaft.
Toe?
It's amazing when you put a new club in, toe miss is where you...
Does that happen a lot, does it?
For you.
For me, okay. Yeah, you're right actually, yeah. Any thoughts on that?
I think it takes, with a good player, 3 swings before you want to even worry about it. Middle.
Yeah, that's good.
I think it looks higher.
Yeah.
Visually.
Pitch that further than anything out there so far as well.
Normalised 83, non-normalised 88, spin at 7,000, hence why it's gone 178. Yeah. So you picked up a bit of yardage because it didn't spin as much.
Yeah.
not a bad thing.
Yeah.
So 7-iron spinning at 7,000, very acceptable.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with that.
You're like 7,500.
Yeah. I've always worked on that, and I'm happy with that. I just know that if it drops below 7, then it's definitely.
Yeah, if it drops below 7, you wouldn't put it in.
It makes me feel a bit uneasy.
It's good. Really good. Straight pull, like slight pull straight is what I mean.
Slight pull straight, yeah.
87 on the peak, 72. So 7,200, we're talking spin rate now. 7,200 on your pull or your drawy one is good.
Yeah. If you can keep that spin up, yeah, definitely.
I think we have to see this in a long iron.
Yeah, for sure. And there's nothing from a feel point of view or a sound point of view that's putting me off this, which is fine. Let's see if I can flight one down a little bit lower.
I was going to say that's a lot lower.
That's just being able to do that, really. Not Trottie's going, you're not in Europe, Piers.
No, exactly. So what would you want your spin rate to be on that?
6.5.
Okay, 68.
And I'm comfortable with that. So all it is for me is that I want to make sure that for me, when I want to hit a ball less distance, if I want to hit a 7-iron at 172, I want to be able to do it. If I want to hit a 7-iron at 168, I want to be able to do it. Because I'm not great at doing that. So I need as much help as I can with that.
So off-speed shots?
Off-speed shots, yeah. Which you know what it's like. I mean, how often, a lot of the people watching this now will be going, well, I did a video this the other day saying, well, this is why golf is so hard, by the way, because you go to the driving range and you practice with your 7-iron, it goes 177 yards, and then you go to the golf course and you got 172.
Yeah.
And you got a ball above your feet on a downhill lie out of the rough. Everything changes.
Big difference between playing golf though and practicing golf.
Absolutely.
Like right now, this is practicing clubs. Yes. That's what we're doing here. For you to get used to this, and that's why fitting is so tough. And that's one of the routes I want to go down with this, is where we go on the golf course.
Yeah, 100%.
Because whether you're in a net room or whether you're here, I mean, don't get me wrong, this place is perfect. But we're not recreating the golf course.
But the thing is, it is perfect, and out on the golf course, it's chaos.
It's not perfect, yeah.
We need to be able to control chaos,
yeah,
don't we?
Yeah,
I think we should definitely do something more of that in the future.
Right, where you at? Because there's others, that good as in,
I like that.
I do too.
Yep.
Okay, 120 X-Flex, so not daft, not silly heavy. Let's get straight into these long irons. Lay a yardage down with your 4-iron first. We will come back to hitting a 4-iron in another shaft. Okay, I like that. I don't want to see another one. It's good, right?
Yep.
Okay, so grab the 20-degree UDI that I gave you. Yes. I checked loft and lie. So that was 4,400 with a 7.4 launch, 79.2 peak. So you do struggle to get it in the air for sure.
Yeah.
Normalized 218 total, which is pretty standard for that. So let's lay this down and see what you've got. I'm going to put it in as our 3-iron.
If I've got a bunker short or water
short,
let's
say
a
problem.
par 5,
yeah.
When I'm going for it, I have to knock the ball further forward and hit it a little harder and those sort of things.
I think we should weaken the lofts on your 4, 5 and give you a bit more launch out of it.
Yeah.
Just by half a degree to a degree.
Yeah.
But it's the same as your driver stuff.
Yes, of course.
Tack angle is what I'm showing him now. It's the same.
Yeah. And that's, yeah.
Do you know what it is? It's growing up in Europe, is what it is.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, we can do bits with this, but you're going to need to find a bit of launch.
And I can do that by mixing with things. I mean, I actually have hit, so the big thing that we spoke about with the fitting with the driver was getting the attack angle up. The best way I can do that is by moving the ball miles forward. You put the ball miles forward, it's hitting it later in the arc, so I've got to aim right to allow for that. Now, I've hit long irons from there, and they've been really good, really high. I haven't done enough with it, but I worry about turning it over a bit.
Which is why the rescue wasn't an option for you. Because when the centre of gravity of the club goes back, you then feel that the toe passes. So now with this club, which is more like a old school 1-iron, I mean, it's a UDI, so it's a very friendly club. With this club, you will not see left. And I think that's why you play your lie angles a bit flatter than what you would expect for someone of your build, which is why we're not changing his lie angles. Again, bell curve, let's get the fitting done and let's talk about this. It's not a hit session, it's a let's get this figured out session.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want some height on it.
Height, all right.
And I want, you just do you, because
we'll
do you.
See if we need to change anything. That's so good for Europe, that is. on the first hole at Hoylake and slamming that down there. We didn't miles, loads of run on it.
It's good.
It was nice.
So 72, very low.
Yeah, it was very low.
It's gone 245.
Yeah, that's obviously the...
I mean, it's landed 225, whereas your 4-iron landed 200 and ran out to 218. So we can say your 4-iron goes 205. This one lands 220. The gapping is good.
Yeah.
The way in which it got there is not good, but it's on 20. Yeah. If I weaken that to 21, it gives you a bit more peak height. To be honest, I don't need to see any more.
Can I hit one more?
You can hit as many as you want and we'll get into 5-wood, but I don't want it to become how high can I hit this, because I think you can do that.
For sure, for sure. This is me not changing it, this is just normal. I want to see if it's
okay.
Similar.
So that was a pull,
yeah.
And it's hugging the left side. It's not turning over.
No,
that's why this golf club's a good golf club for you.
But again, quite low.
Very low.
250, nice.
We'll weaken that. It's going the yardage. Spin is where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've just pointed there at your attack angle. That's what you've got to change, and your path. Grab that 5-wood that you like. All we're going to do with that, I'm going to move it, because I think if you look at your bag, you've got a lot of woods in there. I know some of them are Aaron's, but you've got a lot of woods in there. You've also got the 5-wood set up with the weight back, but let's take it all the way strong. My goal here is to go driver, 5-wood, that 3-iron, then into your irons. Yeah. Because the golf courses you're playing around here, you just don't need a bomb 3-wood. No. Pointless. You got 170 almost ball speed off driver.
And the thing is, the driver now, I think it's the straightest club in my bag after the fitting.
So, and we know the way the game is, hit the driver as far as you can. Yeah. This club, we know you're good at knocking it down. Yeah. So I'm going to say, straight out the gate, Piers, just give me a knockdown 5-wood. I've moved it to lower. Now face angle's open, so it's not going to go left on you. Just give me the knockdown, low flighted 5-wood. So you're telling me you can't hit that when it's tight?
That's good.
And now give me a high 5-wood. So that has gone attack angle 3.5, 3600 spin. It's gone 258.
What was the height on that?
51. Perfect. So now give me the highest 5-wood you can give me. And let's hopefully it totals at like 240. So it's into a par 5, nice and soft 5-wood. How good's that? That is going to be your best friend here.
Yeah, I think you're right.
All I've done is put the weight forward so you can hit the knuckle bomb. And then for you, that one's come out with a spin rate of 3,900. So I'd like more, but it's still gone the 250, but carried 240. So it's only ran out 13 yards. If we go into the profile of that 5-wood, and we have a look at 2 shots, you've gone 234, runs out to 258 on the low one, and then you've gone 240, runs out to 253. Brilliant. Look at land angles, look, 45 to 29, peak height, 111 to 51. That's it.
Big difference.
Done. I don't need to see any more. Great club. We know the driver's good. We know that's good. We're going to weaken the 2-iron, see if we can find a 4-iron and get the loft on that, and we'll come back and have another look.
That's it.
All right. Modus 3 120S.
Okay.
Thought it was the X, but it's the S is the one I wanted. The reason I'm doing that, I think the 6.5 you play is very strong. Yeah. You've talked a lot about off-speed shots. I think let's get a bit more feel into it. Yeah. You're gravitating towards that. I also have the Project X60 to try. I've weakened this. This 4-iron's coming in. Most 4-iron standard loft would be about 24. Got it at 25. So in an attempt launch, but I don't want it too spinny. Okay. So let's see how this goes.
I mean, I look at that now and it doesn't look, you can see it looks different.
Yeah, you're going to see a bit more face.
Toe again.
Okay. This is at 59.5 on the lie, which would be tour-wise, even a little bit flat for tour, but I just didn't want to see the left in there.
Yeah, I hear you.
So let's just let you adjust.
In that time.
Switch to this. Project X 6.0. So same shaft you've been playing, just in the Project X.
Just slightly softer.
Correct. Better, still low launch, but better. So 218 was our number we were coming up with before, normalized. 222, so that's giving you the yardage. Peak height is still low, normalized 65, without normalized 75. So it's probably where you'd expect to see it, right?
Yeah.
Does that feel more like home with that golf shaft? Yeah. Here's where my head's at. The 20, it's right here, that you hit. It's not coming out very high though, but my mind is at least thinking you could play this in a 22 as well if you wanted to. That I would weaken.
Yeah.
Your
I think
call.
it's definitely worth having it. No, I think it's
Yeah.
worth it. The way I would look at this is...
You have 2 4-irons.
I have two 4-irons. I'd want them both and
Yeah.
see which one works. And that's not ideal for anyone watching this who's thinking, oh, I'll just go and buy 2 clubs, but...
No, I disagree.
Okay.
If you're serious about golf equipment, and I understand the angle at which you're saying this from a consumer's point of view, but if you are serious about your golf equipment, you need a squad of players. Like any football, soccer team has, you need a squad for sure.
Totally agree.
They don't go to the World Cup with 11 players.
Yeah.
If you're going on a golf trip to Wisconsin, Scotland, Australia, I don't care where it is.
Squad player comes in, or a utility player. So the thing for me is,
Definitely.
so I've got a 64 degree, and I know what your thoughts are on that, but for me, if I go to the course where we used to film in England called the Asprey, really small greens, lots of thick rough around the greens, fast greens, if I miss the green, I need a 64, or I need something with a lot of loft, and 64 works well, but it will only come out on certain courses.
100%. And that's what we're doing here. Look, we're making the 5 wood to do a big job.
Yes.
Everyone needs a club in the bag in that first 11 that does a big job. But if you're, again, giving the football analogy, there's players on the pitch that do big jobs. The 5 wood for you is going to do, I mean, we've proven it. He asked me earlier offline about changing golf shaft in the 5 wood. No way. You can hit the bullet, you can hit the high one. Why change it?
Why would you change it?
This becomes a rotational player, this 4-iron, for sure.
Agreed. See what happens. But just do something. So that was me trying to get a bit more height.
And that's the thing for me,
Of course it'll heavy.
where I would work towards a conclusion in a fitting environment now. You said there, microphone might not have picked it up. I'm going to try and do a little something different now. I think if you're a fitter in this, and we can do it because we have a good relationship, but you have to close now, because anything you're going to do from here, it's fine, but it's not helping us with the clubs.
You start going down rabbit holes, don't you?
And you as a player you've now passed, you've not yet, but you will begin to pass the peak.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to work on driver, move it into that. By then you do like we did with the 5 wood, hit me a low one, hit me a high one. You have to encourage the player to hit the shots they can hit. I think here now, this is the way we're going to go. We're going to make a decision on, I want you to hit this again. So there's my change, which is the Modus S120.
Yeah.
I want to get a conclusion on the PX60 or this golf shaft. I'm building you the 4-iron in the UDI and the 3-iron. But without doing this, those of you now who follow with a keen eye, my usual way, I hate that. It's too low.
Yeah, I agree.
It's way too low.
And I'm seeing that myself now. Like 5 years ago or even 3 years ago, I'd be like, oh, that's all right, it's fine, I'm okay with that.
But you're not going to get that higher.
No.
I think we have to go this route, mate. I think we have to go softer in a PX, which doesn't surprise me with you because you always like to have some control and stay in what you were playing before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a subconscious.
It is. But on the same note, Piers, you don't play all the time.
Nope.
You like what you like and you don't play all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would I've tried to move you into other stuff, but there's nothing that's groundbreaking. It doesn't matter what it says. And another good call out for you, if you're going for a fitting, it doesn't matter if one golf shaft says, torque is this, launch is this, EI curve is that, balance point is this. All right.
Yeah.
What's it do for you? What's it do for you? And the thing I liked earlier, you took this off normalized to see ball flight, to see what I just think we stick in the 6-0, we do the 2 squad players, the 5 wood becomes like an MVP for the bag, driver we know is good, wedges we don't need to look at, we know your gapping's good, and we stick with MC and then 7-iron down.
And the thing is, this is exactly the same as a golf lesson. When someone comes and they can video themselves, they can go on 3D, they can have launch monitor data, let the ball tell you. Let the ball tell you what's going on. You have to.
There's a big thing here about playing the game and about playing golf. You need to play the game. Golf the game, not golf the range.
Bit out of toe. Just going to kill it a little bit, but...
I think we should offline this. I think we should get that 4-iron, start to look at some peak heights, and then work on that.
Yeah.
So we'll work on those things. But as for this, that's how I would structure a fitting, especially when it comes to someone that you know who's a good player. Probably half the shots you'd expect to see. Speed that conversation up, get them in a good place, and then make those decisions. We have to check all his loft and lies. Do that every time you get to a facility like this. Check them, and we're also going to do a regrip. Keep on top of these things. It's your only contact point with the golf club. Make sure they're in good shape. Always good. Thanks, Piers.
Thank you, mate.